Right, let's just jump into it. Going to make this one pretty quick and that, just yeah, a little bit pressed for time, and things are looking pretty grim out there at the moment. This meltdown on gold and metals and risk, basically everything this week has just been absolutely insane. So, I mean, look, hindsight's always beautiful, but this was the channel that we were sort of looking at originally. We did have this little overshoot that obviously popped us right up to that sort of 24.50 level, but you know, obviously on the flip side of it, as we sort of came down through here, bang, this has been absolutely demolished. I mean, we're looking at just from the break, you know, almost a 4% move just from the break, and that's in like 2 days. So this is on a 4 hour sort of time frame. As you can see, I was looking for buys back here in 90s. They got walloped. We're looking for buys back around the 50s. They held for a little bit, but then obviously last night they got walloped as well. And at the moment, we seem to have come to a halt, but you know, that doesn't mean that we've necessarily found a bottom. But we do look back, and if you look back at the last couple of weeks, how many times I mentioned this 30s line, it was very pivotal. I mean, you can just see it through here, and that's why I like to keep the sort of markings on the charts, because we know that sort of how important this 30 level was after this pullback from the previous sort of attempts at all-time highs. Little consolidation, that was our key sort of breakout point. Breakout, came back here, buyers stepped back in. We knew that the buyers were going to be there because we'd seen the buyers have been here previously, they become sellers, and there's a very pivotal point coming back and forward through here. So it's only no wonder that, you know, give it another shot, bang, you're going to see some people buying or some sort of like short covering down around this level. I wouldn't say so much short covering at the moment, and probably not even so much buying, just because it's not really going anywhere. It's just stopped falling for the moment. So it's just falling resistance. That was just that thing. I sort of extended this out just to sort of see how it does. Like, I'm not a big one of these ones that sort of chop through things and like sort of go through like this. I mean, you could say that was some sort of back test of that, but I think that's a bit of a, yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that, to tell you the truth. It's to me, the fact that it broke through, came back down, that this section here, that means that this line here is done with. So I'm not a big fan of this one. So I'm just going to move him back up over here for now. But yeah, so 2030, 2330, sorry, I forget what hundreds we're in. Has played a pivotal part time and time again. So obviously, look, it's the market's trying to hold it up at this point at the moment as well. So if we sort of drill down a little bit lower, we can sort of see, obviously, it's making itself a tight little range. This is on the 4 hour. So if we have a look on the 1 hour, we can see it's really just sort of consolidating up here a little bit. I would say a break of this little area here. So let's make it this kind of joint here and call this a little consolidation box, or breakout box. So either we're going to see some sort of form of recovery through here, or we're going to see this plow down. Underneath here, 2307, and of course you're coming in 23 round number. Previously, we can see that this is the little launch pad for this move to come out the top over here. This is going to have some reprieve at some stage. I mean, this has been quite a move to the downside here. I mean, you can't even really take too much of a channel or anything with this. Let's get that arrow off there. It has just been such a sort of meltdown through here. A little bit of a sort of channel, if you could see this coming through here. So obviously grind along the side here. So I would say with this, like, let's move this out here because we know that this is a zone. I would say with this, we're going to see this just sort of really hold this little consolidation point here. And then sort of either, boom, hit this side and just drop down, as we've seen it done, you know, from the top up here, second time. Maybe this will be, you know, wave one. Well, I guess you can't even pick out, you know, wave ones or anything here. It's all just one big long sell down, really. But yeah, so I guess to the side here and then sort of drop down. So I did do a little sort of vid last night, and we were looking at this little point through here, which was, you know, I mean, at the time it was like a little bit of a sort of drag this through here as well. I was looking at like this little kind of wedge almost, and I was like, look, here we come up the top over here. But when you break these things, whether it's a wedge or a channel or anything like this, you want to see strong volume candles pushing it out. When you have these little dribble out sort of moves like this one here, there's a real chance that this is just more just like grind, and then bang, sort of smacking down and down again. So we had US PMI out last night, which really was the last thing that sort of really stifled any sort of recovery effort through here. Strong data out of the US means that, they're not in any hurry to sort of cut based on that bit of data that did come out. So we've seen a bit of a change this week in their sort of talk and their sort of action with it all, sort of coming across a little bit more hawkish than they had previously. And this is why we've seen the dollar sort of firm up a bit, and we're sort of seeing metals obviously sort of see a little bit of sort of fluff come off the top of it. So, if we can hold this zone and push out through this sort of short term, medium term sort of pullback here, then there is potential for some little upsides. But because it did come down staggered like this, it's going to be more effort and work to sort of get back up through here. You're not going to see a fine cut through. When you see sort of things that just shoot down and pretty much have no position for people to get off, that's just stops getting hit, or if it's the other direction, it's squeezes. They're the ones that quick up, quick down, those kind of things, quick down, quick up. They're the ones that sort of go through. But because this is, as you can see, quite an orderly kind of high lows grinding all the way through here, these are going to be areas that make it difficult to get above. And there we go. And you're going to see, as soon as the market has a chance to sell it down from these points again, they're going to sell. They're going to do it. So let's. I mean, there's a number of those things here, but we can see that's our first little resistance just here, top of this box. We've got undersides of here, we got the tops of here, which, if you carry this one through, you can see that's a little sort of, the buyers are here, sold down, bang, again, coming through here. So, there's going to be a lot of little levels, if we drag this time and time again, where we're going to see if the market gets a chance to sell this stuff down, they're going to do it. Like, it's not going to be a quick recovery for this one by any means. First step is to stop falling, of course, and so that's what we're trying to see at the moment. It did try to do this yesterday. I mean, we had a double bottom potentially sort of coming through here, but as we can see, as I said 2 seconds ago, just it broke out of this little sort of triangle that it was trying to sort of wedge that it was trying to sort of break through, and it just melted down even further. So yeah, we just sort of see how this one sort of plays out. But yeah, I think under 25, probably looking for another 20 buck move to the downside. Okay, and the cause of this is this DXY move. And as we can see here, like we did have a bit of a wedge sort of playing out yesterday. Which one did I have it on? Charted these things, so cleared the charts up a little bit, but as we're sort of seeing through here, this was a little bit of a wedge that we had. Sort of, where is it going? Find out where I actually had that drawn yesterday. Now that I've sort of cleared it off, maybe this. I think that was probably pretty much what I was looking at yesterday. So we had this little wedge. I'll get these ones out here. Actually, I'll keep that for the moment. We had a little bit of this sort of almost wedge pattern coming up here, and it did come down the bottom side here, but really we were looking for a confirmation down underneath these lows here, the 450 level. This is the level where we were saying, look, if we want to sort of confirm a breakdown of this wedge, this was going to be the level that would be the confirmation. So it's not just the break of the structure, like the wedge, because as you can see here, came down there and then absolutely fired back into it 2 seconds later. So that's on the 30 minutes, put on the 4 hour, I don't know, 1 hour maybe. Yeah, so you could kind of see that it was, we had a couple of touches to confirm this top side. We had a couple of touches to confirm this, and it was punching up into the middle here. It looked like it was coming down for a moment, but of course, I think we had, I can't remember what data that was out there, but that may have been the PMI. That was the PMI for US, and obviously just flew back up to the top side there. So we are sort of really pushing back up. We got higher time frame sort of resistance areas potentially sort of coming in around here. Maybe let me have a look closer. So we did have some areas through here where we did have some sort of buying previously. I wouldn't call it I suppose you got a couple of times it's respected this. This little launch pad off the top side over here. So look, I wouldn't say that this is a top of this part just here at the moment. I was trying to sort of see if we were getting a bit of a negative divergence, as you can see with this arrow down here, but it looks like it's ready to sort of gear up for another push up high here. And this will come in line with, as I said, gold taking out those lows and moving to the next level if we do see this push down in 2 seconds. But really, it is just sort of continuing to grind back up here. As you can see, just above here, we got the 78% retracement of this pull, of this push down through here. But certainly it is grinding, and it is sort of doing its old school wrecking ball kind of stuff. So potentially a bit of a channel or something if it were to come up at top here. So I would say, look, we're probably near a short-term, medium-term high. I don't think I see this coming out and retesting, moving all the way back up over here. But of course, this is DXY, and DXY just really does love to just once it gets going, it just keeps on going. So you got to sort of be wary of that. Obviously, this is a very quick move. Like, this last little pass through here is really what's caused, a $100 pullback on gold. Silver's down like, I think 7 or 8% or something from the highs as well. So, yeah, it's been a very big flip around this week. So we'll have to sort of wait to sort of see what this does. If we get onto a lower time frame, we can see that, look, it has got, excuse me, almost a little bit of this triangle, little bit of a sort of range coming through here. So obviously the market is sort of attempting to sell it down, but it does keep sort of plowing through. So I think a break above this level here, we'll say next leg. Because every time it does look like it's all, and this is one thing typical of DXY, every time it looks like, oh, yep, technical thing here would be sort of, okay, yep, so if it's hit the resistance, it's sold down, got a lower low, and what's it do? Jams it up another whole sort of a leg up to the top side here. So you really got to wait till like almost double or triple confirmations with DXY before you see it turn around, because it just, once it gets going, it's just, that's why they call it a wrecking ball, because it just keeps on going and smashing everybody in its path. And particularly now, because the Fed have changed their tune, that's why sort of we're seeing a couple of people reevaluate and change the landscape a little bit, and sort of put a little bit more faith in the idea that they may not be cutting so quickly. It's looking like ECB is going to be the first to cut at this stage. On the Aussie, obviously one of the ones that gets smacked as soon as US dollar starts getting bought up, has been very underperforming in that, particularly after such a strong run. If we look at this sort of move off the lows, we were really hammering up to the top here, but this is what I say. We come into an area where we knew it was going to be tough, because it was super tough coming through here previously, start of the year. When is this? Back in start of January. Comes up into this area and bang, 2 attempts, and it just gets hammered. So one thing to be wary of with Aussie at this point is that it has given up this channel. As we saw the importance with gold, as soon as they give up the channel, you can be looking to quite a big shift. And as you can see here, we've already done a little retest of that breakout point. So the little video that I did last night of it all was to sort of say basically what was going to happen. I wanted to see, I've got on this chart or this chart perhaps. Yep. And you can see this as it's sort of playing. So this was around the point that we did the video. I said, look, is it going to come up here? We can see buyers, 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 sellers, comes up here, clips it within like a point or two, and then bang, smashes down. So this is the thing, you got to be wary of the fact of, when something's a significant level and it breaks, that's fine. You may get a chance to sort of revisit that, which obviously offers a little sort of counter trend trade up to the top side here. But you got to be wary that these things aren't necessarily going to come down and break again straight away. Look, there was a chance because we were charging and sort of growing, and then this obviously pushed up here quite strong. But so there was a chance that we went through here, but the fact that we didn't and then got smacked on the head so hard, that was the PMI data for the US through that period. You got to sort of be conscious of that. And so now we're looking at potentially something along to this effect, to have a little bit more of a sort of a further cooling of the channel through here. Um, Look, we are coming into a little bit of a support area with Aussie. So we've seen that this area has been significant for buyers recently. So I would say between, where are we at now, 94, between 94 and 80, I would expect this to be a little bit of an area we might see at least a little bit of a push back up. If you did sort of want to sort of call this a little bit of a channel through here, that could see one more push down through here, and before we get a little bit of push back up. I imagine this is going to be a bit of a grind through here. At best, at worst, 65.50s looks like it would be an area where I'd be interested. Certainly at the top side over here. We did have a little bit of a meltdown, head and shoulders over here. But as I said, yeah, look, everything risk-wise, anything counter, opposite USD is just getting absolutely smashed at the moment. So, you know, you're not really looking to add to too much. We did try and hold this sort of support through here, but as you can see, that's also given up now. And we're coming down into this little area through here. So I still, as I said, I think, you know, we're not going to just completely die overnight. Famous last words, perhaps. But I would say if you want, it's just coming down into an area where I reckon the market would be pretty interested to give it another shot after it's come off the highs. Flip across copper. Copper's certainly come down, and as you can see, it's across all the charts here. We're sort of seeing this last little channel push, and bang, broke the channel. I'm surprised this didn't have a bit of a retest or a little push up here, because this is really just going. But I mean, copper has been absolutely ripping to the top side. So you know, we're seeing a little bit. That's all. First push down, resistance. Second push down, came in a little bit higher just at this point. So you know, not to sort of say that that's anything until you get back really above 49 or 490, whatever you want to call it. But I would say that certainly, you know, as I said, everything's really taking a little bit of a haircut at the moment, while DXY sort of does its thing. A couple of things that I have noticed with these things as well, price targets have been met, and obviously, you know, this one sort of overshot it a little bit here. But you've got to be wary. I think sort of a sort of plan or attack moving forward, when these higher time frame price targets are being met, then almost just wipe the charts and re sort of assess things, because it's very easy to sort of get sucked into these things when they're running and running and running, and every time you buy a dip it goes higher, and then of course, you know, eventually the music stops and things get absolutely pulverized, as you're seeing now with gold and silver. Not so much. I mean, Aussie's down a little bit, but you know, I mean, it's certainly not taking as big a hit as the metals. The metals are getting absolutely ravaged at the moment. All right, and finally, just finish off with China, because China's been an exceptional bounce. Look at this thing coming back up through here. So this is the part that we thought we'd come down here. We thought it got on it, and it just shot straight back up here again. So we're right back up into this range through here, which is an amazing play of effect, really, because as you can see, it was a bit of a range through this period here. Let's get this off here. And it just has not given up. I'll flip this up a little bit. Has not sort of given up to sort of come to the downside here. So this is all part of this. As I said, I thought we had it sort of planned out. Well, we did have it planned out. I thought we had it playing out, sorry, I should say, to get this sort of a head and shoulders move. But, you know, again, when the market looks a little bit too obvious, people get a little bit too positioned for it, well, that's when they sort of, you know, jam it up the other side. Anything I could say about this is the fact that it's not a super strong move. I mean, look at the size of this move here, but this is what I was saying before, quick down, vaguely quick back up through this area, at least through here. This has been a very slow grind up through here. It did give up this last leg's support and tested up the underside, but, you know, as we see, I think people are trying to short this thing, and it just keeps sort of pushing and grinding and going higher and higher. So yeah, from here above, you've got these previous highs as a resistance, which is the little price target for the top side move. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little bit of a pullback down over this side. I know every time I sort of chart this thing, I'm sort of saying that, look, we're going down and south, but, you know, as I said, breaking the trend, that puts it on the radar. It still moves up higher, but if you look at this buying pressure, this is on the 4 hour, because it's not really much worth looking at this thing in any time frame under that. But, you know, look at that sort of buying coming through here. Like, you know what I mean? That's not something that's reminiscent of like, oh, in tune with it going much higher. As you can see, this last kick up through here. So to me, that says that it's squeezing anybody that's trying to get short on this thing. We're seeing US dollar sort of obviously firming up across the board, but I would say we're probably getting pretty close because it's just, you know, that is the thing. It's negative divergence through here, and it's just still pushing up. This is your typical negative divergence. So you would expect this possibly to have a little bit of cooling off. Doesn't mean we're necessarily going to be coming right down over here, but certainly I think a move back down to 24.20, retest these sort of highs, and I would say you're probably almost back to playing this range, and this was just a little bit of a shakeout of this move. Certainly, yeah, the Fed changing their tune has really sort of popped things back on the back foot. All right, that's it from me.